The world could change in 3 or 4 years. But right now, status is imbued on Instagram more than any other platform in the entire world. It's not Twitter. It's not YouTube. It is absolutely, undefatigably Instagram. And if a man out there is like, I would like to date attractive women, going on Twitter to try to meet attractive women, or LinkedIn to try to meet attractive women, or YouTube, you are shooting yourself in the dick. That is stupid.
Like, I'm looking at you and your concept and what you've been through, and you've basically just graduated, and now you're ready to start life. Whereas a lot of men our age, they're looking at this, people watching here, they're looking at it as now they're going into the retirement years, which is the opposite, because society's told them how they have to be. They've told them what they've had to do. They've had to continue to move on. And so men are afraid to disappoint. We're afraid to let people down. And you don't have to be, because us taking care of ourselves, we don't realize or sometimes fail to recognize that is an absolute must. And no wonder, the population of 50-year-olds is fat, on medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, stuff like that. So let me ask you, when in your performance coaching, how do you take all of these subjectivities, put them into something objective to teach men to take their life back?
So go back to what we just said before. These principles that should work, that are ubiquitous amongst all men. Like if you've been on the calls before, you've seen it is black men, it is white men, it is Asian men, it is Indian men. The distribution of different ethnicities on my calls is shocking to me. And we did absolutely nothing to make it that diverse. The reason it's that diverse is because the problems that we are finding solutions for are ubiquitous amongst all Homo sapien males. All men require status. They seek status and higher sexual selection. This is universal. This will be the way it was for the last 3,000 years, 11,000 years, 50,000 years, and it will be this way forever. This is how humans have evolved. So if I give you techniques that are based in evolution, these techniques should work in every instance, in every case, or in most cases. And so what are these techniques? Having women find you, approve of you, makes more women attracted to you. We've shown study after study showing this. Mate choice copying, sexy sons hypothesis. TCU just did a paper showing that men who take pictures with other women and the women are smiling, those men go up in 2 points of attractiveness on a 10-point scale. When it comes to higher social status and what's it called? Social proof, right? What do we see? Steve Demopoulos out here. What does it say? We win. You see the personal injury attorney, billions won, right? What do we see with McDonald's? Billions and billions served. What is that? It's social proof. What's the easiest way for people now to show social proof? Through social media. So here's the concepts. Let's take these concepts from our ancestors of social proof, social circle, having higher status, more relevancy, more competency, access to scarce resources, higher status. And then let's teach a guy who maybe was married for 15 years. And so he went in and he got married. And when you get married, I don't know if you guys know this, your testosterone levels drop. When you get divorced, your testosterone levels go back up. He goes in and gets married. And when he gets married, there is no Instagram. There is no Facebook. He gets divorced. And then all of a sudden he's like, well, I'd like to date again. But it's like, what is Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge? What is Instagram? So they don't get it anymore. The world has passed them by. My job in MOA is to teach you to get it.
Okay.
My job is to teach you to, it's like, man, this is so overwhelming. It's funny because I got a course just for you to teach you to get it. Like right now, by the way, obviously this is 2024. This is June of 2024. The world could change in 3 or 4 years. But right now, status is imbued on Instagram more than any other platform in the entire world. It's not Twitter. It's not YouTube. It is absolutely, undefatigably Instagram. And if a man out there is like, I would like to date attractive women, going on Twitter to try to meet attractive women, or LinkedIn to try to meet attractive women, or YouTube, you are shooting yourself in the dick. That is stupid. It's Instagram. The number one dating app in the world is Instagram. It is not. There's no debating it. And if you don't believe me, go talk to an attractive woman and ask her, where did you meet the last 5 guys you met? And they'll be like, a friend introduced me. He slid in my DMs. I slid in his DMs. Another friend introduced me, and another friend introduced me. That's how women are meeting men now.
But what about social circle and status outside of dating?
Yeah, so outside of dating, again, it's the same evolutionary principles. It's like you will look to the man who has more abundance and be like, again, like what do we see with salespeople now online? Like Grant Cardone, he's got a super expensive watch. He's got a G-Wagon and a jet and all this kind of stuff. He's showing, because I have affluence, I can teach you to have affluence. He's using social proof in order to get these things to work. You see guys on podcasts and the bigger and bigger guests they have. If you get bigger and bigger, like if all of a sudden my next 5 guests were Barack Obama, The Rock, Lionel Messi and like whatever, then you would see a flood of other guests like that trying to come on my show.
It's the Kelsey Taylor Swift effect.
Correct. And then as soon as I do that, I would get a text message from Joe Rogan, can you come on my show? That's what would happen.
Yeah.
It's a function of social proof. So what we do is we take these ideas, but we shrink them down. I don't need you to be Joe Rogan level famous. I need you to be a 2. Now that's 10 out of 10. I need you to be a 2 out of 10. I need you to be a local celebrity. So how do you do that? You get to the point where every restaurant, you go there on a regular basis and the chef knows your name. I'll teach you techniques on like how to make sure the chef and the GM remembers you. You go to a nightclub, you never have to wait in line. Whenever you go out, you have beautiful women with you that are your teammates. And so and every beautiful woman in your city has at least seen your face, either because of your podcast or because of your Instagram. They've all seen your face.
And the ones that haven't seen your face see you walk in, they see that confidence, like, who the fuck is that?
Exactly. Who the fuck? The last module in my program is literally called Who the Fuck is That Guy? So I mean, it's just I could teach you these things to become a local celebrity. These small things, but where are they based out of? They're based out of natural selection. They're based in evolution. And so when you use these concepts and you start noticing like the fame effect, holy crap, man! Like that doesn't have any. Obviously affects women, but it doesn't have to. It can be men too. It's just crazy to me. Like the more people I get to join MOA, the easier it is for me to get even more people to join MOA because I have so many testimonials now. Testimonials is another way. Word of mouth. There's all these different things that you can use in order to increase your sexual selection and your status in general. So like, let's just say I was an accountant. I have one of my clients who's an accountant and he started hosting Zoom calls. And in the Zoom calls, he would take Q&As for like several hours. And then he would present like certain tax strategies. Well, at the end of the Zoom call, all these people are like trying to learn how to do their own taxes. Now I'm like, at 3 hours, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to let you do my taxes.
Right.
And now he has more clients than he knows what to do with. Do you see what he did?
Absolutely.
Social proof. He showed competency. He showed relevancy. And he scaled it because he did it on Zoom. It was scalable. It's just very easy concepts that are based in natural selection. So we just teach those concepts to men. Often we teach them to men over the age of 40, 40 or 50 who've been recently divorced, who may be having struggles, going custody battles, dealing with a crazy ex-wife, whatever the situation is, or just a matter of like, listen, you had an amicable divorce, but you're getting out there in the dating scene, you're 50 years old and you don't know what to do. And someone needs to teach you to get it. And that is my fucking job.
So what's so for a 50-year-old guy who's looking, I mean, the premise of the show and the whole point is that it's 50 Shades of Grey, dare to live, right? So it's to give ourselves permission to live our best lives,
yes.
Right? So if a guy says, look, I'm comfortable, I'm happy in what I have, why do I need to do this? What's the risk to him?
The risk to him to keep doing that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what we're finding is that the highest cohort of people in America to take their own lives are men over the age of 40 who've been divorced and have lost their money.
Oh, shit.
So they're 8 times more likely to take their own lives than the general population. So like, the funny thing is, so now here I am teaching this stuff and I'm being derided by like woke ass, like simpy men and women who like egalitarian women. And I'm like, what are you guys doing to save these men's lives? You're doing nothing. And you're criticizing me for doing this. Right. We're actually saving people's lives. And so I think it's hard for them. Dude, that's one of the roughest, when people are anti-manosphere or red pill, one of the hardest things for them to narrate out is the idea that we are actually saving people's lives. And it was me, Myron, Rollo, whoever, we have hundreds of messages from guys saying, you have help. I was thinking about taking on my own life. And because of your program, I am not going to kill myself. That is really, really difficult to fight our narrative when you see that.
I think we need to also look at that. And I like where you're going with that, is to let men know, it's okay to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
because we talked about the background, the history. We're always been the providers. We're the protectors. We're the ones that take care of. And what you're doing is exposing the fact that, hey, it's okay. I've worked my ass off for 30 years to get where I'm at. And I've gotten to the point. I'll give you an example. Like, I was out looking for a car. I've always wanted another BMW 5 Series. So I go out, I'm looking at the 5 Series. I can afford it, but I can't afford it to have a bunch of other money in the bank and stuff like that. So I go out and buy this Hyundai Sonata. It has everything it's not the same fucking car. Yeah. Right. So it was actually, Serge over here, we're talking about it is, dude, go buy the car. Yeah. Go buy the car. And since then, what I could tell you is overnight, I felt better. Sure. I felt more.
You're never going to remember the $2,000 sitting in the bank. You're never going to fucking remember. Never going to remember.
So the thing is, though, while I agree with you, the problem is most men in their 50s do not have enough saved up for retirement. Inflation has eaten away their savings, and they had to pay for a divorce. And like, it just
I've got 4 of those.
Yeah,
so
it just doesn't work out.
You know,
I do.
So unfortunately, while I agree with you, it would be nice for us to take care of ourselves. Some women have a burden of performance. Some women have a burden of performance. All men have a burden of performance. All men, all the time.
But I actually think that you can do more with what you have for yourself versus always trying to be the provider and then the person who takes care of it.
Right, but having a burden of performance isn't always just being the provider. Like, being in the gym and being in shape is also part of your burden of performance. Being doing things to be attractive to the opposite sex, even if you're married, is a great idea and is a great precipitator of not having to be divorced. And since 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women, men getting in better shape is probably, if you want to talk about the number one thing that would reduce the divorce rate in this country, is men and women becoming less fat. The number one thing that would change that. The second thing that would help is if, when men lose their jobs, women just tend to leave them. That is just I literally just today, one of my girlfriends, one of my female friends, she's a playmate, and she just told me, yeah, my boyfriend lost his job and she just left him. And like, in her mind, guess who the victim is? She's the victim. Wait a second. He just lost his fucking money. Right. But you're the victim.
Right.
How fucking crazy is that? So when you realize that, you as a man always have a burden of performance.
Click the link in the description and I'll send you my high status networking playbook for free so you can start meeting high quality women today.